got a quick explanation about the oil flow through the rear case of the Lycomming TIO-540 Alpha Echo 2 Alpha engine that is pretty much designed for the Piper Malibu, and we're putting it in this velocity you see behind me here. We were thinking we had some oil flow problems, but now that I've gone through it and figured out how it works, I think we're doing good just putting it back together and running it how it is. But I'll go ahead and go through it real quick so that just so I will know for sure that I understand the system, and that way I'm confident that everything's going back together right. Alright, here we go. I've acquired a gear case from a friend of mine at Midwest Malibu here in Hutchinson, and I've got these 3 fittings that they're pretty much oil filter base covers, just different designs, different stages, and that's where they go right there. Okay, and this is, we've got a mag drive here, mag drive on our engine. We've got an alternator here instead of an air pump, and fuel pump, and hydraulic, and scavenge pump for the turbos. Alright, in the parts catalog, this is the original setup for the Malibu. It has this plate, and is what we got here is a fitting for the turbochargers by themselves. It's a dash 6, and then I can't remember what this is for. I believe it's for either a the oil gauge, or it's plugged off, or some other unit that takes pressurized oil. And what I've done here is I've taken and made a gasket of the back to see how it fits on the gear case, and this is what I came up with. This is why I'm doing the video. This Lycomming, it tells you where everything goes, but unless you see it on the engine, it's kind of hard to understand. So here's the gasket that will go with that plate on the original Piper configuration, and this plate goes on there like so. Okay, I've marked them on this. This is how we have our setup: turbo, wastegate, and the gauge. And then it also, I need to add on there that it circulates through your main bearings on your crankshaft and your cam bearings. It shows on the diagram which ones, but I won't go into that. Anyway, this center hole here that's covered up is basically in line with your oil pickup tube. So you got your oil pickup tube runs up through the center of the case here, and your oil pump is right behind here, and right behind this fitting is where the oil is pumped into the system from the sump. Well, this continues up, and it's all drilled out, and it's got a plug up here. And then on the original version, the cap that goes over it plugs that hole up. So normally that would be your pressure line. Anyway, this is your return line, and the way they have it plumbed on the original version is the oil comes up and goes out this fitting into either your oil cooler first or oil filter. I don't know how they have it set up, but it goes to your remote oil filter, and then through your oil coolers, and then back into the return line, and then you got cool oil going to your turbos, and then on across into your engine. Again, we have ours teed off here for the the turbo wastegate and the turbo bearings, and then we have our oil pressure gauge on one of these other fittings. Okay, now that's how the original system works. Now, due to our inability to access the oil filter easily, when we put the air plenums on top of the engine, we're going to have our oil cooler is right up here, and the oil filter was originally here. Well, with all these plenums going to be installed, it's going to be covering this whole top of the engine. So we needed to relocate the oil filter for easier access, so we don't have to take the whole cooling system apart. We can just come over here over the wing, unscrew this, maybe get a couple dribbles of oil, and that'll be the end of it. Okay, back to our other deal. So this one, with the Vernotherm here, this is, I don't know that this is the original one, but it's a Vernotherm. The Vernotherm goes in this port. We've got a temperature probe, goes into this port. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this to shorten the video, but this is what we're taking off, and we're installing the AirWolf. I don't remember the part number, but this is going to make our oil filter remote mount. We've got our two lines. This is our pressure line. This is our, well, they're both pressure lines. Anyhow, our Vernotherm will be in this one. Our oil temperature sensor will be in this one. And how the oil is going to be routed, the oil will bypass from here to here, and how it does that is it goes through that port, out this fitting, through the line, to the remote oil cooler, or to the remote oil filter, and then from the oil filter back into this line, which comes through this port, which pushes the oil through the engine. So we're not bypassing the oil filter, we're just not going through this port. It'll still flow a little bit, but not as well as this will. Okay, so we're still going to get residual pressure through the coolers. Alright, with this installed, when you get the Vernotherm on there and the engine warms up and the oil starts to warm up, it closes off this port. Now you only have these two ports open. Once the oil is hot, this is closed, and it's going to utilize this fitting. It's going to go through your oil coolers. We've got one in front, one in back, and then it's going to come back into your return line, coming back into your oil filter housing, and then it's going to go back through this unit, through that orifice there, through your line, back to your oil filter, back to this unit, out this port, and the cool oil will be going back into the engine. And that's pretty much it. The only thing I don't like about this setup is there's not a bypass for the oil filter itself if the oil filter gets clogged, which if we change every 24 hours, we shouldn't have a problem with that. So that's basically it. Thanks to Tony at Midwest Malibu for loaning us this gear case, and again, this is off a Lycomming TIO-540 Alpha Echo 2 Alpha engine, and he's really been helping us a lot with this. And with that, I will close this video and say have a good day.